a very happy, is it Wednesday? February 16th? Or no, Tuesday, February 16th. It's morning. I already had my coffee, so you're not going to see me drinking out of my left-wing liberal tears coffee mug. Just soda, because the caffeine-free is what I do after I have 2 cups of coffee, and that's it. Anyway, so USA Today came on and interviewed Ruin Johnson. He basically said, "Oh yeah, I have a trilogy." Disney's like, "You do? With whom?" And then he kind of kissed Ray Blow ass some more. Jeremy Griggs last night when he was talking about this live, I woke up at like 2:30 and kind of glanced at my phone and went, "Oh fuck, not again." Hey Carl, but I agree with Jeremy on this, that this is a distraction from Gina. Apparently, according to Drunk 3PO, Gina was talking to a blog and told them that she found out she wasn't, I think, being re-signed or not working with Lucasfilm anymore the same time we did. So, what's going on here? What I think this is a distraction by the story group at Lucasfilm to hide what they did to Gina. It ain't gonna work, okay? Trust me. Somebody sent a bunch of receipts to Bob Chapek and Bob Iger about tweets and things that Ryan Johnson put out there. Okay, so we'll see if he ever gets a trilogy or not. Okay, we'll see. I actually went to my financial guy and asked him to ask our stockbroker if we have any Disney stock, because if we do, to get rid of it. Do it, dump it, get it out, dump that shit right now. I don't want it. I don't want it tainting my portfolio. You understand? Here's the reason why. If Disney is so incompetent that they can't control what's going on in one of the umbrella company, a company that they own, then why do I expect them to pay me dividends when they... You understand what I'm saying? So, I don't really know what the deal is. But there is something definitely, in my heart of hearts, there's something big happening. I don't know what it is. This is not going away. This is, the Gina Carano thing is not going away. And I think Disney knows that. People are pissed off. You do not treat somebody who has done professional work for you, who has brought people to your company, who has changed the narrative from constant negativity to positivity. You don't treat them like this. Okay, now I'm going to say this. The reason why she was quote unquote let go, I think, told she wasn't going to be signed, or it was intimated she wasn't going to be signed through the firing. She wasn't technically fired. She was just told she no longer has anything to do with Lucasfilm. And it's really just interesting to me how this is all playing out. Gina is literally everything women like Kathleen Kennedy, Rain Roberts, and the rest of this, Leslie Headland and all the rest of this frickin' scum, this stuff you find at the bottom of a grinder pump, think they are and aren't, okay? And part of this is jealousy, part of this is envy. They see her and think competition. And not only is she pleasant, is she nice for guys to look at? Excuse me while I grab. My nose is running again because it always does. Excuse me. Not only is she pleasant for guys to look at, she's a woman who is actually great. Hey, Mazarius. Oh, and Mazarius is right. He's not relevant. But Gina is a great role model for women. Okay. She's a great human being, too. Uh, you know, she's a great ambassador for Star Wars. And they can't stand it. And the reason why they can't stand it is their idea, Rey, the bestest ever, was literally laughed away. People can't stand Rey. They're not making any new sequel trilogy characters for her. The idea that she is just the complete opposite of Rey is fascinating. And I find it ironic. And looking at the USA Today article, and Star Wars Direct put this on there. Oh, she does. I mean, she's a Viking. She could be a Viking woman. She could be a Lagertha. You know, you want a strong ass bitch? Go up against that woman. Okay, that is a heroine. Gorgo in 300 is a heroine. All right, Leia. One of my favorite characters in Lonesome Dove, Clara Allen, played by Angelica Houston, is a heroine. Ellen in The Quick and the Dead, played by Sharon Stone, is a heroine. Okay, their idea of a real woman is one who hates men, who tries to look like a man, who defeminizes herself. I mean, Christ, we spent a week bitching about boob armor with women who look at themselves and can't stand that they were born with female body parts. That's all this is. I mean, oh, she is. I mean, Vice Admiral Gender Studies. What the fuck? Again, I've said this before. I said this yesterday when Stephen Walton and I were talking. If you are in the military, you are a soldier first. You are a Marine first. Notice I didn't put those two together, because if you tell a Marine they're soldiers or a soldier they're a Marine, they get pissed off. That's a fact. Don't ever do that. Don't ever say that to my husband. Ugh. You are a sailor first. Oh yeah, Revan, you're right. You are an airman first. You are not a female airman. You are not a female Marine. You are not a female soldier. You are a fucking soldier. You are a fucking Marine. Do you understand? That's the first thing. Okay. The second thing is the way she treated Poe, the way she treated her staff is more like you're right, Mazarius. Is more like it's insane. I mean, Vice Admiral Gender Studies needed to be in some sort of parody of, the nuclear age. Riding on a nuclear missile. I mean, that's where she belonged. She sure as fuck didn't belong in Star Wars. For the first woman who actually reached flag rank in Star Wars, it was a terrible rendering, a terrible, terrible rendering of a flag officer. She should have walked in a uniform. She should have been no nonsense, no personal shit going on, just take care of business like a flag officer would. Oh, but wait, a female flag officer with their hair flaming color of lavender. We have to make sure we see that before we see anything else, because that's the important thing, not what she does. All right? Because it's all about representation rather than creating a good character. What the fuck? Okay. So we've got this shit going on with Ryan Johnson. Now let's talk about Ray Blow. Ryan Johnson started, clit teasing them again. It's a misogynistic, disgusting idea. Longed for by a bunch of oversexed teenage girls who, for some reason, think that ugly ass Adam Driver is the shit. I mean, again, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, if that mule-faced prick had ever shown up on the doorsteps of Warner Brothers or 20th Century Fox, they'd have laughed him off the set. They'd have laughed him off the set. The reason is this: he is not what they were looking for. And back then, actually, when Al Pacino, Richard Dreyfuss, Robert De Niro, and others were starting to make names for themselves, they were looking for ethnic guys. They were looking for guys that weren't exactly the Hollywood norm of tall, handsome, beautiful man, like Clark Gable, like Robert Taylor, like William Holden, like John Wayne, like Rock Hudson even. I mean, and Steve McQueen, like Clint Eastwood. That alpha male, that genuine masculinity that just, it hits you when you see him on the screen like a push, and you're like, that women are really truly drawn to, except for women who are terrified of being a woman, like Kathleen Kennedy, like Rain Roberts, like Claudia Gray, like, I mean, they probably are, like those bitches, okay? Those angry, self-absorbed, I'm woman, hear me roar, kind of see you next Tuesdays. They can't tolerate that kind of masculinity because it reminds them so much of being a woman. Guy like Adam Driver, who is ugly AF, who shows up playing a pouting, crying, spoiled, poorly written, poorly conceived, poorly acted character. They can control that. Oh, poor little boy. Oh, baby. Hey, baby boy. What the? Wow. Really? A real woman wants a wussy little pussy bear who hates daddy for no fucking reason at all. No reason at all. And let me explain this. I'm going to start ranting. The novels written leading up to the sequel shit, The Good Dumpster Fire, are garbage because they don't explain anything. The comics are garbage. I think the most laughable scene I saw just in the plates I saw of Snoke trying to train Kyle Ron, the dog-faced boy, is when he takes him to Dagobah, which is over anybody's head at Lucasfilm anymore in the story group. It is a Force Nexus planet. It is like Mortis. Time doesn't go the same way it goes anywhere else. And he goes in there and he destroys the dark side cave. And Snoke is like, what'd you do that for? Do you know how fucking stupid that is? Do you know how dumb that is? In Clone Wars 2003, the cartoons that led up to Revenge of the Sith, it's very interesting to me that there's a scene where let the Snoke flow through you. there's a scene where Snoke, or where Qui-Gon Jinn actually has Anakin on Dagobah telling him to go into the cave. And it's one of those things where you're watching it and you're like, did he really take him there, or is this sort of a vision of what would have happened? And really, oh, you're right. I mean, you're right, Mazaris. And really, I find it fascinating that they would do that, because if you remember, when they were making him a knight, when they were going to knight him, one of the complaints was he hasn't faced himself. He hasn't gone into the mirror or see the reflection of himself, seeing inside. The thing about the Dark Side Cave in The Empire Strikes Back and in Clone Wars, because remember, Yoda did it too, is this. It shows what you're most afraid of becoming. And this is literally the thing that absolutely pisses me off. You got Kylo Ren facing his parents. Why is he afraid of them? I mean, it should have been something he was afraid of. All right? His fears. The thing about the dark side is that it preys on your fears. The only thing, and I'm going to say this because everybody hates it, the only thing that Rian Johnson got right with his Dark Side Cave mirror is this. When Rey asks to see her parents and she sees herself, that is the dark side. That's her fear there. If she wasn't afraid, she'd see what she wanted to see. Okay, that's it. That's all. That's it. And we all know that. The only thing he got right, the only fucking thing that little round-headed prick, dickhead, got right is that. That's it. And if he doesn't think Bob Chapek and Bob Iger don't know what he's doing, they do now. I'm literally in absolute awe of the balls that the story group has right now. We all know what you did to Gina. We all know. All right, and we're not going to forget, and we're not going to stop talking about it, because now she's afraid to come on here. If I could figure out how to do StreamYards, I'd have her on here. We talk. It is fascinating to me, all of this, and it's one thing after another now. One thing after another, which makes me thinking there's something coming. A big goddamn announcement. And I'm not kidding. High Republic's been a joke. Pablo the dipshit attacks Star Wars Theory, and then, hiding behind his tweet, his protected Twitter account, he posts and makes sure that everybody can see what he said about Star Wars Theory. And it was a pointed attack at everybody. It was pointed at all of us who are happy as hell to see Luke back. Normal Luke. Okay? Bad! White man bad! Oh my God! We want women! Here's Cara Dune. No, not that women! We want women! This is what's going on here, guys. Alright. So we have that going on. Then we have the High Republic coming out. And everybody mocks and laughs because it's stupid. It's not a success. If you go to Amazon.com and Revan, it's not going to die. Okay, just don't come here and talk like that. Sit back and just listen to what I'm saying. So we got the High Republic. If you look on Amazon.com, where actual sales are listed, it's not, it's a joke. The fact that the New York Times bestseller list is not bestsellers, it's editorial. Those books aren't bestsellers. When I look to see what they're telling us to buy, I'm not interested in reading them. They never review the books that are bestsellers. They don't. They just don't. So that was a failure. They got mocked. They got pissed off because basically Luke Skywalker and kicked over their whatever sandcastle it was, whatever that was. Totally overshadowed it. They're pissed. Then this Gina Carano thing. And now Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson is a distraction from Gina Carano, and I'm going to be honest. Oh, it's garbage. I mean, no one's going to read that. Can I ask you guys a question? If you had a 13-year-old girl, would you let her read that? Would you encourage her to read? I wouldn't. And the kids won't read it anyway. First off, it's not that girls didn't like Star Wars. It's that certain kinds of girls like Star Wars. Okay? I was that certain kind of girl. None of these characters that they've come up with, Rey, Rose Tico, Vice Admiral, Man-Hater, of our Chris, and the rest of this shit are characters that resonate with me because they're not normal women doing extraordinary things. Okay? Leia was a normal woman doing extraordinary things. Cara Dune is a normal woman doing extraordinary things. Hence, they're extraordinary. Times, events make people become extraordinary people. All right? The reason why I know this is I grew up, my father was a World War II veteran. My mother was Rosie the Riveter. Two normal people that were flung into the historical maelstrom, an event called World War II. Okay? They got through the Depression. They got married. He got drafted. He went to the U.S. Army Air Force, Air Corps. Mom went to work at factory, testing radar and weapons, radar and radios for the Navy. This is what they did. These were normal people that did extraordinary things, defeating the Nazis, defeating the Imperial Japanese, defeating fascist Italy. They came back, had families, big families. I'm number 9 of 9. Lived their lives normally. That's what Star Wars really is about in lots of ways. These characters, the original characters, even in the EU, were always evolving. The origin story of Han Solo, Luke, Leia, always evolving, growing. Normal people do that, okay? They don't devolve, which is what the ST did to them. They devolved into whatever. And, my dad was a radio man in B-24s, and he had to go to a special school. It was top secret radio, so we think he was probably Pathfinders, which were, if you look at the planes, there were certain planes that had different array underneath on the bottom of the airplane, and they led the bombers into where they were going to bomb. Like, think about it. The Ruhr Valley, Bremen, etc. Okay? And the B-24 was really the heavy lifter of our heavy bombers. 4-engine bomber. Yes, I wrote papers on this. And the daylight raids, once the P-51 Mustang, which Chuck Yeager flew, all these guys, Francis Gabreski was another fighter race, etc. Once that plane had an engine that could, and a fuel capacity that could take it to the heart of Germany, which is Berlin, and back, then the bombers could fly day and night, all day long. All day long. Okay, 24 hours, 7. And they did. They did. I mean, you're in Germany and you look up and you see the sky blackened. That's how many bombers, American bombers, were up there. And they were bombing the shit out of the Germans. They were bombing ball bearing factories, ball bearings are very important to war effort. Arms factories, airplane factories, you name it, blah, blah, blah. We had strategic bombing. That's what we did. We went after their manufacturing. The British, with their Halifax and Lancaster bombers, they went after the cities. They went after Dresden. Now, I think we did do a few daylight raids over Dresden. I have to go back and look. Dresden, Hamburg, Munich, Berlin. I have a problem with that. I don't believe in turning the population, civilians, into targets. But the Germans did that to London when they started bombing London. And that was just frustration because they couldn't invade Britain. They got to the coast in France and stood looking at Britain, and Britain was like, to back at them. They couldn't do it. So they thought they could bomb it into submission. Hermann Goering. And Goering was wrong. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. He was my dad's generation. But these were just normal guys. Like Dick Winters, whose name is famous from Band of Brothers. I live in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. He was right around here. A hero, all right, a genuine goddamn hero. Just a normal guy doing extraordinary things. One of our Marines, when we were in Hawaii, got augmented to one of the units in Afghanistan. Yeah, it was Afghanistan. And he received the Silver Star. That's the only thing bigger to get in the only medal higher is the Medal of Honor. Okay, just a normal officer doing extraordinary things. Okay, that's what is so great about Leia. She was a normal woman. Empire Strikes Back showed that. Hi, Eastland. Empire Strikes Back showed that. She was a very normal woman with normal needs and wants and feelings and all the rest of that stuff like we all have. Han is a very normal guy, to be honest. Luke is extraordinary in everybody has talents. Luke is gifted with something from his father, the Force. Yes, not just everybody can have the Force, so quit fucking democratizing it. That's stupid. That's really, really just, it takes away the uniqueness of the Force users. It takes away the uniqueness of Anakin Skywalker. It takes away the uniqueness of Yoda. All right? Okay? It does. Not everybody can have the Force. And it shouldn't. And it should be that way. Okay? But Luke, Leia had talents. She's a leader. Han has talents. He thinks outside the box. He's got fantastic reflexes. He's the best pilot in the galaxy. He's an extraordinary shot, and he's not stupid, despite what even Harrison Ford says. He's not stupid. Not even close. Okay. This is a guy who can get out of trouble very easily. He's clever. He's smart. He knows a little bit more about the world. He's world weary. He knows a little bit more about the universe than the kids do. And when I mean kids, I mean Luke and Leia. And he's a guy that has seen a lot, and it has made him who he is. All right. Then you've got Luke. Luke is extraordinary in the fact that he's an extraordinary pilot. He's gifted with the Force, and he's extraordinary because he wants to do the right thing. And he wants to be, it's not that he wants to be a hero, but he wants to be the one that changes the conversation. Everybody there, regardless if they want to or not, even Lando, going through his repentance arc in Return of the Jedi, even Lando, they all have certain things they give to the event. Okay, Luke does the thing that he's meant to do: bring his father back from the dark side. That's what he was meant to do. Afterwards, he goes on, learns more about his own power, grows in power, creates a new Jedi cadre, and becomes, in George Lucas said, he's the most powerful Jedi that ever lived. He'd be a competition for Revan. Okay, he'd be competition for any of them coming. All right, Yoda. Because of who his father was and how he was able to learn as he went along. That's important. Okay. Leia grows into herself. The Chancellor, we want women. We want women as leaders. Okay. Leia, in the EU's Chancellor of the New Republic. She's a Jedi Knight. She's a devoted wife and devoted mother. But that's bad. What? Why is that? But Kathleen Kennedy, who, and this is real, you can look it up online, Google it, Bing it, whatever. She actually was a quarterback for her high school. It's like, I know, was this back in the late 60s, early 70s? Really? That's for back then, that's some weird shit, man. That's like, I love football. I grew up hunting. I shoot. I am my inner child is a tomboy. But if I ever would have thought I'm gonna try out for our varsity football team, they would have laughed me off the planet. In fact, the quarterback for our team is a good friend of mine from my high school, and he's a big dude. Okay, Joe's a big dude, and it's like, Steph. Steph could throw a football 50 yards. Me and Brett Favre. Okay, but that's Kathleen Kennedy. She actually, but you look at her, she doesn't dress femininely. She doesn't dress like a woman. She dresses in pantsuits, kind of like Hillary. And the idea of actually being a real woman, being comfortable with how you were born and what you were born to her is horrible. And I scratch my head and go, are we really doing this now? Is this really something, as Star Wars fans, we really want to talk about? And apparently, yes, it is. Because that's what she wants. So I think this is all a distraction. And I think there's something definitely coming. And it makes me wonder, something has to be the last straw. Something has to get Iger and Chapek to go, okay, that's enough. This is enough. Is she in violation of her contract? Probably. Has she kept up to the letter and spirit of her contract? Well, the movies net box office has dropped. They maybe barely crossed into the 2 billion net box office, which I'm sorry for how much it costs to make and produce and market these things, ain't enough. And they sure as fuck didn't pay for themselves. Lucasfilm has not paid for itself. Everything that's been on her plate as far as creative has been a joke, has been not well received, has been incompetently made, and just people laughed at it. People, I mean, it's just they've been a failure. Okay, look at Pablo Hidalgo. You know, he brags about getting rid of the EU. What have they replaced it with? Aftermath novels by Chuck Wendick. I said Wendick, by the way. Dick, D-I-C-K. Are garbage. They're garbage. All right. Claudia Gray's books are laughable. They're boring. Okay. G.K. Johnston's. She can't write men. She hates men. She's a self-proclaimed lonely cat lady. I wonder why. On and on and on and on. This is a failure. This is an absolute failure. The only books that I've seen that have actually, I think, done well are Timothy Zahn's Thrawn stuff. But that's it. That is it. And I really think that Hidalgo really wasn't part of that. I can't imagine him being part of that. But, you know, there's so much more though. I mean, Hidalgo's latest failure is not only the book. Just a second. I have not done this yet, and I'm going to do it. Where are you, my pain in the ass? When it gets a little warmer out and we've got a nice day, I've got this and a few other things that are going to meet their demise in the fire pit. That's his book. I don't know what the rank is on Amazon, but I bet you it's not high. No one wants to read his shit. No one cares about his shit. And the reason simply is this. Him with a sign saying, your Star Wars theory sucks. Your Snoke theory sucks. You know, the failures of Kennedy and her cabal, led by Pablo, are extraordinary. And according to Cameron Pasha, it's not a secret. It is an open secret in Hollywood that she fucked up. Yet there she is. All right. If you're from Disney and you're watching this, because you want to tell Chapek and Iger what we're talking about, here's the deal. We fans have been put through the ringer by jackasses like Pablo since you guys bought Lucasfilm. We have been called and libeled, slandered, and defamed by people like Pablo for close to 8 years now. All right? You've allowed them to divide the fans, attack the fans, defame the fans, calling us racist, sexist, homophobic bigots. Whatever is out there, they immediately jump to it. All because we didn't like what they're doing. Okay? You know, they assume right away, that you're a fat guy hiding in mommy's basement. 20% of the people that are in the fandom that hate what's going on are women. All right. There are many black men and black women who hate what they're doing to Star Wars. Geekdom is everything. and it encompasses everything. I personally am insulted by Christina Ariel when she attacks white women. What she said was racist. I'm sorry, but Amazing Lucas defending her, what she said, which is indefensible, is wrong. Okay? Too many of my black male friends are like, she can't say that. All right? Too many of them want to have a sit down with her. Just like they want to sit down with Justina Ireland for basically saying the same thing about white people in general. What Justina Ireland said about Montana it should be enough to get her sued into oblivion. The state of Montana, with Glacier National Park, with the Bitterroot Mountains, with it's literally one of the most beautiful places on the planet. You can lay back on the prairie there, look up at the sky. There's no light pollution, so you can actually see the Milky Way the way it should be seen. And there she is crapping on it because white people are there. White people. That's not racist. Is it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is, by definition. Whoever from Disney, I'm going to tell you something about me. I'm Catholic. I'm a Catholic Christian. I don't see race. My confirmation sponsor is a black woman who's married to a white man. All right, I don't know why I have to qualify that, but I am for you. We're good friends. She is pissed off about this. She finds it extraordinarily bad for black women to be talking like this about their brothers and sisters. Because, let me explain something. God made all of us in his image, okay? In his image, all right? So there is no race. We are all one in Christ Jesus. And if you believe that, like I do, what she says, Ariel, Justina Ireland says, is wrong. And it's sinful, and it's bad, and it's evil. And you want to know what? If she was white, saying that about Jews, or black people, or Latino women, if they were white, saying that, you call them Yahtzees. What's the difference? There is no difference. It's the same thing. Racism, no matter who's puking it out there, is evil, and it's intolerable, and it's not what Star Wars is about. See, the thing about Star Wars is it unified everybody. This guy and his ilk are dividing everybody happily. Gnostic, there is no such thing as Gnostic Christianity. All right? They're dividing everybody. And again, this stuff with Ryan Johnson showing up and, I have a trilogy, Raylo, is there just to divide people. Is there just to distract people from your, put it bluntly, failures. As Lucasfilm and the enabling incompetence and indecision and indecisiveness of the leadership at Disney to fix this problem. Okay? It has gone on far enough. I mean, you got Hal Gilroy. I don't know, Paul. I wish I would. Oh, he probably agrees. I could tell you a story about somebody I know who's white, who's in a mixed marriage, who screams about race every 3 seconds, and I think it's just virtue signaling or whatever, but it's tiring. Okay? It's tiring. I don't care. I don't care if you married your goddamn dog. You understand? I don't care. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. And furthermore, it shouldn't be in Star Wars? You know? Oh, they are. They're just, yeah, Bobby, you're right about that. Um, it doesn't, it was never part of it. George Lucas created something that unified people across political spectrum, across ethnic groups, genders, whatever. If you were a girl who loved Star Wars, you were considered weird. But hey, the guys were like welcoming. So when Geek Girl Diva, when Anita Sarkeesian and all the rest of these cunts show up and scream they weren't allowed, when Molly Damon shows up, we're not allowed, they're lying and they're full of shit. Because I was, and that was back in 1970 fucking 7. Okay? So, there you go. That's one lie. The black men I know love Luke Skywalker. Okay? They didn't need representation. They had Lando. And I'm going to tell you something about Lando. Lando's a very good character. He's very complicated. He's got to work through. He's got to work through a lot of shit. He's one of the most interesting characters in Star Wars in the original trilogy. Mace Windu, with his problems with Anakin. Another very interesting, you're not quite sure about what he really thinks, that kind of character. But hey, let's fuck it up. Let's bring in lesbians. Let's change characters that were there, that were heroes. Let's trash them. Let's run them through the mud. Because we need to push our characters as the virtuous ones. This is bullshit. First off, you're driving off the people that were there in the beginning, and you're telling them what they loved. Well, we're gonna fucking nuke that, and put these worthless, poorly written, poorly conceived characters up there to replace them. It's not working, is it? Yet here we are. It's what? TLJ came in 2017. Or 2016, 2017. And we're still fucking talking about it. We're still fucking talking about Raylo. We're still fucking talking about Rian Johnson. We're still, meanwhile, Disney, their stock, let's talk about their financials real quick. According to Valiant Renegade, he's a financial advisor. When you look at their stock, $189 at the time he was talking about it on Saturday night, it's where it closed on Friday. It's only paying 2 cents per stock. 189, 2 cents per stock. Think about it. When it was 114, it was paying over $2. That's a lot of goddamn money gone. Okay? They've turned into a streaming company. They lose one of their most important financial assets in Gina Carano. What the actual F is going on there? Okay? It's not like, there are people in the fandom menace, I'm not going to say who they are, who actually believe that Disney has a money farm. And they go out every day and they have dollar pickers. They go to the trees and they take off dollars and put them in baskets and carry them to the bank. It's not, they don't. They really don't. When I look at how much money they've borrowed over the last year, if they are not, if they are not under $100 billion in corporate debt, I'd be very shocked. Maybe even more. That's driving that. Their stock prices are inflated because they're using the money they borrowed from our government, the U.S. taxpayer, banks. They borrowed money from the government of Canada, for Christ's sakes. $11 billion. They're buying their own goddamn stock back so they can keep the price up, so they can look like they're doing well. But JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Sachs, Goldman Sachs, they all know they're not doing well. You can tell by the comments that some of the hedge fund managers have been making publicly. And yet, Gina Carano, one of the one that sold the most figures for Hasbro, the one that everybody wanted to see in Mandalorian and other shows, gets not fired, but not welcomed back because she had the gall to stand up to the SJWs. Motherfuckers like this, who apparently is still fucking working for Lucasfilm. I don't know how you run a company like that. I don't know how in the world you wake up every morning and think, I want to be as competent a leader and as indecisive a leader as I can be. If you're Bob Iger, if you're Bob Chapek. The problem starts with Kennedy. And it goes into your contracted writers like Ireland, Older, Gray, Wendick, G.K. Johnston, and the rest of these, this shit, this garbage, this refuse. Who, I mean, when Justina Ireland said she doesn't read books beyond the 50th page, and she's a writer, are you kidding me? I mean, you know, you've got Pablo Hidalgo, his wife. You've got Henry Gilroy, who, oh, by the way, that tweet he put up about Gina, he deleted it. I wonder why. You got a guy named Jack Morrissey wanting to throw people into wood chippers because they dared to disagree with him politically. They're all still there. They're all still tweeting. They're all still attacking their fellow human beings. They're all still demanding what they demand and bullying people on Twitter, in public, on Instagram. They're still there. And Iger and Chapek are like this. Why is this still happening? I mean, I got into it with dipshit Pablo the first time in 2017. I was like, okay, fine, he's a dick. You know, but it didn't surprise me. I mean, you know, you either run into really friendly people in Hollywood and in that business, or you run into dicks, and he's a dick. Okay, fine, I can deal with that. And I found out that people like Steele Saunders, whom I thought was a real fan, he's just there for the perks, and to get a video of him saying hi to Harrison Ford, and Harrison Ford walking away going, who the hell was that guy? Which is what he did. I mean, you know, I've been on red carpets, like I've said. They're not a big goddamn deal. They're not. I mean, like I said, if you really want to meet an actor or an actress, a director or a producer, get invited to a party and get introduced to them by a mutual friend. Okay? Because that's how you meet them. That's how you don't. They're not going to remember you from Adam's off Ox. all right, from a red carpet. They're not, all right? They're not. So, I thought, it was an eye-opening experience to see the crap that was going down in the fandom before TLJ came out. Being mocked because you had a theory about what was going to happen. Being mocked because you didn't like what they did. I'm not, okay. I mean, that's fine. And then it's allowed to continue. Getting yelled at because you hated Soylo, a Soy War story. And then being told, it doesn't matter if it didn't make money, we want another one. It's like, no, we don't want another one. And Disney, at least Disney's smart enough to know not to throw good money after bad. Being, just ridiculed and mocked because we didn't, I'm going to take a vote. Do you think it's kind of weird, kind of different, kind of odd to be hated as much as we are just because we don't like a goddamn movie? Their trilogy. All right. Then, this is my favorite. When some Rablo bitch cunt shows up and goes, well, it's just a movie. Yeah, it is. So why are you so upset that I said I don't like it? Why are you so upset? Because Kyle Ron looks like the cross between a mule, a bat, a crow, and a rat. And he's a misogynist, abusive killer. Why are you so upset? That's the truth. Oh, okay, it's not just a movie to you, but it's supposed to be just a movie to me. When I see my favorite characters getting run through the mud so yours can... Fuck you! That's not how you tell a story. That is not how you continue the saga. And this is why you fail! The problem, beyond not just because of Kennedy, she doesn't like Star Wars anyway and wanted to destroy it, is this. You can't create something like Star Wars if you don't love it. This fat doesn't love it. Nobody in the story group loves it. And you can tell by what they've done. They don't care about it. They don't, when what's his face, the writer of the TLJ novel, was forced to put Han Solo's memorial in there, and it was it was half-assed. It was a mockery. It was fuck you to the fans and to the character. Admiral Akbar has to get Leia to do it. Ryan, if you're watching, why don't you go take a flying leap off a goddamn bridge? We're done. You are literally, you are the cultural Taliban. You are Mullah Omar of the Star Wars hate group. And that's what you are. That's what you and your little buddies over in the story group are. You're the cultural goddamn Taliban. All right, I have no problem calling you terrorists. You can't attack fans with Steele Saunders stickers saying your Snoke theory sucks. Giggle like a little 5-year-old spoiled brat. Drop the F word on Mark Hamill on a panel. Continuously say you've got something you don't have. And expect that everything somehow isn't going to come back and bite you in your fat ass. That's not how karma works. I'm not Buddhist, but I do believe that people like you end up getting what you deserve. And what you deserve is utter, abject failure. Because not only are you an unprofessional person in a business that requires professionalism, you are a horrible, just a bad human being. You're just bad at being human. I mean, you're not educated in the way you should be in order to make movies. Sure, it's a beautifully filmed movie. The story sucks, and the story is everything. The characters suck, and the characters are part of that story. And it's a reflection on you how bad they suck. Because let me tell you something. When you look at a piece of art, like something Rembrandt painted, like something Vincent van Gogh painted, like something Whistler painted, like you find out a little more about what's inside that artist. And what is in you is a great big empty dark hole. Just like what Doc Holliday said about Johnny Ringo. You can't hate enough, you can't mock enough, you can't bully enough to fill it up. Oh, I know. Matt Martin, I thought was a nice kid, but he has to go too. These are the people at Lucasfilm that gotta go. Kennedy, Rain Roberts, Pablo's wife, if she hasn't gone now, Matt Martin, Henry Gilroy, Hal Hickel. Anybody who's on Twitter using it only to troll and attack people who work for Lucasfilm need to be fired. Because let me tell you, right now, you can find Justina is a contract writer, Carl. Oh yeah, mine too. But he deleted that tweet. Yeah, he is. It's time for all of them to go. It really, really is. You want to Star Wars to be successful? You want to see billions piling up and profits and the hedge fund managers happy? I suggest you start cleaning house. Because in this day and age, there are a lot of people out there that need jobs that can do every bit as good a job as Hickel, Martin, Pablo, and the rest. Okay? The fans are now demanding transparency. I want Disney to say, does Roundhead Johnson have a trilogy or not? I want them to say there is no Reylo. All right? Or there is. Tell us what's really going on. I want them. You know what? I think you're right. Like I said, like Cameron said, there's going to be big announcements coming. This isn't the end of this. The fallout is massive. Now, stock prices may not fall, but the fact that they're only getting 2 cents, $189 per stock, and the fact that they're only getting 2 cents per that is a massive, massive, massive bad thing. Okay? It is a massively bad thing. And the reason simply is this. It shows that they're not making any money. It shows that they're in trouble. And if you don't think the hedge fund managers know that, financial advisors are all looking at it going, don't buy Disney stock. It should be valued at about $60. 60, not 189. That's where it should be. It's inflated. It's not worth the price. And the reason simply is, you can blame COVID all you want, but it sure would be nice if they fix Star Wars and get rid of this shit. I'm done with this crap. We all come from the real world, right? If you're incompetent, if you did your job poorly, you get fired. At Disney, Lucasfilm, if you're Kathleen Kennedy or Rain Roberts or Pablo Hidalgo, you get to keep your job and cause trouble. Continuous trouble. I don't like that. I think it's stupid. I think it leads to abject failure. And Disney Lucasfilm, sorry to tell you guys this, right now, under Kathleen Kennedy, has been an abject failure. Now there are rumors that Pedro Pascal may leave. I've only heard it in one place, so don't run with that. Jon Favreau being courted by Warner Brothers. You better hope that guy doesn't leave, because if he does, then it really is over. Then you're dead. Then it's gone. Might as well shutter the windows and give everybody a pink slip, because it's over. All right? He is the only person who gives a fuck about what he's doing. Him and Filoni. And Filoni needs guidance. Filoni can't do Star Wars without somebody who's a leader above him. He's not that person. Favreau is. John has always been a straight shooter. He's a Star Wars fan. He loves it. And you can tell by the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian that he does love it. Okay? So you better hope he doesn't go anywhere. Because if he does, you guys are screwed. It's over. All right? Then you really do have to do something. But I think you're doing something right now. I got a feeling that there's something happening coming soon. You know, I think here's a theory. Here's a speculation. Here's a theory. This is just this. I'm gonna do I hope. I think you're right. I think you're right. I think you're definitely right. He is a hero. He's a national. Jon Favreau's a national treasure. I don't care if he's a Hillary Clinton supporting whatever. I adore him, and the reason why is he loves this. That's how you have to be a creator. That's where creativity comes from. Passion, love, respect, a need to make something beautiful. This motherfucker is as ugly on the inside as he is on the outside, and everything he supported or tried to make reflects that. Okay? He has to go if he's not gone already. What part of that is not understood? He should have been gone 2 years ago when he was whining about billionaires being mulched. All right? Yeah, I did. I was the one that was like, it has, the only Jedi that makes sense to show up for Grogu is Skywalker. That's it. They have to, and you know, I don't like to toot my own horn, but when I saw Red 5, I was like, holy shit, it's Luke. I knew it. The moment I saw one, X-Wing, I knew it was him. And that was the moment. Now we've got, and you're right, KK doesn't have to worry about subscription loss, but she caused it. She caused it. And Disney Plus is all they have. They put all their eggs in that basket. Think about how dumb that is. Think about it. She can't go anywhere. People don't want her. It's an open secret in Hollywood. She's a toxic person right now in Hollywood. They know it. She's lost Steven Spielberg's support, for Christ's sakes. Which, I'm going to tell you guys something. Why does she need to be there to produce Indy 5? I mean, I want y'all to put your thinking caps on. Why does she need to be president of Lucasfilm to produce Indy 5? Why? I know, Dave. You can't, and they're learning the hard way on that one. You can't. I mean, she doesn't need to be there. No, she can't. From what I've heard, is Mangold is writing the script, and Harrison Ford is overseeing it. This is his baby. This is this, and I'm gonna posit this: Kennedy may be Kathleen Kennedy, but if Harrison Ford says I don't like you, that carries a hell of a lot more weight than her bony ass. Okay, I guarantee you. Okay, if he says, I mean, look what he did to Shia LaBeouf after Shia went off on Spielberg. LaBeouf has never had the career he should have had because of what he did, and Ford put the nail in the coffin. You know, don't fuck with Steven Spielberg. All right, don't fuck with Harrison Ford. Don't. Doesn't matter who you are. And they all know what she did. Yeah, her last. That's after she did the dancing sequence in Temple of Doom. Yeah. I mean, the stupid look on her stupid face. It's she doesn't. She can't even. I mean, when I look at my dog and I'm talking to my dog and he's doing the shepherd thing, like, you know, he's much more intelligent, has much better expression than she does. Oh, I would too. God, that would be funny. I mean, that would really be funny. I mean, that would. I am going to say this, that she just, I mean, she's not, I don't think it has really anything to do with Indy 5 as far as like the creativity. Sorry again. I don't know why my nose does this, but it doesn't matter what time of year. I just get a runny nose. She's really got hench thing. Okay. We've just decided what her role will be at Indy 5. A hench thing. Okay. Good one, Maze. I'm just, I guess I'm just staggered that this shit wasn't taken care of 2 years ago when it should have been. I guess I'm really just floored by the fact that she's gotten away with so much. The fact that Spielberg walked away. This derailing what's going on. Dave. The fact that Spielberg walked away from her and it didn't have anything to do with this kid freaking out says a lot. It says a lot. I'm going to tell you something about Steven Spielberg. I'm going to add Tom Hanks to this. There are a lot of so-called conservatives who run around wanting and needing people in Hollywood to be abusive, sexually abusive, pedophiles, whatever. Spielberg's name has popped up. There's a guy that has a blog who insists that Lucas is also one of these people. Because Indy, in his relationship with Marion, they're freaked out that Marion was 15, 16 years old. My historian's going to pop out. There's absolutely nothing in the world wrong with that, considering the time period. So, if you're watching this and you want to argue with me, quietly go fuck yourself, okay? I'm right, you're wrong. I know about history, you don't know shit, all right? But these people want and need Spielberg to be to be a James Gunn. They need Hanks to be a James Gunn. None of that's true. It's all conjecture. I mean, they have these open secret Hollywood sort of blogs where anonymous people, chicken shits, show up and post, their bullshit on there, and people run with it. It's like, I'm gonna tell you a story. When they were filming Star Wars, the first one, they had a surprise party for George Lucas for his birthday. And Carrie Fisher was there, and the crew was trying to get her drunk so they could get her to go to the back room. Now, remember, she's 5'1", and at the time weighed about 100 pounds. Let me explain something. The smaller the woman is, the harder alcohol is on them, and the more it'll affect them. 2 glasses of wine were more than enough to get her high as a kite. And she's in the middle of this crowd, and all of a sudden you hear this booming voice say, "Where are you taking her?" Who is that? Han Solo himself, Harrison Ford. Walks into the crowd, grabs her. They're all arguing, "Hey, bring back our princess, blah, blah, blah." And they leave. Well, that's how the affair started. But B, was George Lucas involved in that? No. He wasn't. It was the guys who were causing all this and doing all this. They were the ones that were involved. Ford basically saved her. Now, you can sit there and yell and scream that he had an affair with this, 20-year-old girl. She was old enough. She was the one that made the choice. Okay? Shit happens. They went to dinner. They met Mark and a friend out at dinner. Carrie is being dropped off at the apartment she was staying at, and Ford got out with her. Obviously, we know it was what he was thinking, and she asked, "Do you want to come up?" She could have said in the car, "I'll see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow on the set." Don't for a minute think women are powerless in situations like that. With a guy like that respects him. If she'd have said, "I'll see you tomorrow," got out of the car, he'd have stayed in there and gone back to his place. But she didn't. Okay, she knew exactly what she was doing. Like I would have known. Like any other woman who has a brain would have known. Okay? But what was the worst situation? Being in that situation or being dragged drunk off your ass back to a room, and God knows what they would have done to her. Think about it. Think about it. All right? And whose fault is it? It's the perpetrator's fault in that situation. And in the other situation, is 2 consenting adults deciding together. All right? That's the difference. All right? And anybody who thinks the consenting adult thing, well, she was young and she didn't know. She knew perfectly well what she was doing. Read the book. And if you don't think she did, you're disrespecting Carrie. And B, you're disrespecting powerful, smart females, and that's what she was. She knew what she was doing. All right? Now, Spielberg, set of E.T. We've got Drew Barrymore. Was he responsible for her getting drunk on the set? I don't know. I agree with that, Richard. I mean, they might as well have just said that, but we'll get to that in a minute. I don't know. There are a lot, but like I said, there are a lot of people, and I'm going to tell you something about the guy Not the guy that writes the blog, it's the guy that supports the blog, who blocked me on Facebook because I said I want direct evidence of this. And he couldn't handle it when I basically said, you do realize that back in the day, back in the early 20s, teens, that was pretty much the standard. Guys were always older than the girls. Always. That's how it happened. That's what happened. They weren't the same age. This whole same age thing is a 1950s to present idea, all right? And when you got a woman who's years younger, I mean, Bogart McCall, Bing Crosby's wife, Catherine, was 30 years younger than him. I got no problem with that. I don't know why anybody else would. But there are people out there that have to find something weird. And I look at it and go, you didn't make it in Hollywood. You're pissed off at them. They didn't want your script. Therefore, you're attacking them. And that's why they do it. Anyway, about Gina. Gina found out the same way we did on the online. She told a blogger that. Go to Drunk 3PO's channel if you don't think so. I would suspect that Iger and Chapek found out the same way. I think that Kennedy basically did what she always does, ran around behind their backs, and did it. Now, what Gina posted and this is for the guys at Midnight's Edge. If Tom's watching, get Weechie to listen, and whoever who really, you don't touch the Holocaust. Why not? I'm a historian. The people who are saying you don't touch it have never been to Germany. I speak the language. They've never walked the boards at Sachsenhausen. I have. I've gone to the camp. I've seen it. I've seen the blackened cell that they threw Reverend Martin Niemöller, who was an anti-Hitler Lutheran minister. He was the one that wrote, when they came for the communists, I wasn't a communist, so I didn't do anything. That's Niemöller. That's where they sent Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who's another Lutheran minister, who was part of the Wednesday Club, anti-Hitler conspirator, who was executed. Okay. I've been to Dachau. I've seen the place where Hans and Sophie Scholl were beheaded for leading the students of the White Rose movement at the university there. Okay. In Munich. I've stood in the place where Klaus von Stauffenberg was executed at the Bendler Block on around midnight, July 21st, 1944. Yeah, Dave, you're right. There's absolutely, and I haven't even mentioned the Jews, okay? Well, and you shouldn't, because it's an event in history. Look, do we look at what the Romans did to the Gauls and freak out? No, we don't. It happened 2,000 years ago, right? Do we freak out at what the Romans did to the Scythians? We don't even remember who they were. Do we look at what the Romans did to the Germans? Well, the Germans actually fought back. Interesting little battle to read about, the Battle of the Teutoburger Forest. I think it was three legions got wiped out, and the eagles were stolen. Emperor Augustus, Octavian, is wandering around the palace screaming, Quintilis Varus, bring me back my legions. It was a bad thing. And it was the first, the Carthaginians. I mean, they wiped out the Carthaginians and then salted the earth so nothing could ever grow there. Yet we're not allowed to talk about the Holocaust? Bullshit. As a historian, we must. We must be able to bring back every moment of genocide, of murder, of massacre. And the thing that makes it special is how it was done. And because they killed 6 million Jews, but they killed gypsies, they killed Slavs, they killed Poles, they killed Russians. There were American POWs that were killed in the camps. There were French POWs. There were Brit POWs killed in the camps. Hitler sent his political enemies to those camps. And I'm going to tell you who Hitler's political enemies were. Okay, so just listen. Communists, conservatives, monarchists, other socialists, because guess what? National Socialist German Workers' Party sounds kind of commie, doesn't it? Hitler has been quoted, and his supporters and his staff have been quoted, calling themselves socialists. Fascism is just another type of socialism. Yes, they took guns away from the Jews. Why? So they could take them away. All right? Yes, they committed, hey, how you doing, Dimash? Mass murder on different ethnic groups. Slavs. They hated the Slavs. Subhuman. Homosexuals that weren't their kind of homosexuals. Let me tell you something about that, okay? Ernst Röhm, the guy who was killed during the Night of the Long Knives, he was the leader of the SA, the brown shirts, caught in bed with a little boy, dragged out. I think Goebbels actually was the one that arrested him. The reason why Hitler did all that, the reason why Hitler did all that was because the army, which was very, very prominent in the eyes of the German people, didn't like the SA. The SA basically wanted to be the German army. And the generals were like, and the field marshals were like, oh, hell no. And you really can't blame them. And Hitler couldn't get their full support unless he got rid of Rome. Rome was causing trouble. But what's interesting is that the real bad guys, the worst ones, you know who carried out the Night of the Long Knives? The SS, led by Himmler and his little toady, Reinhard Heydrich, who probably, had he lived, had Germany been successful, probably would have been Hitler's successor. They called him the blonde beast for a reason. And oh, by the way, there are homosexual rumors about him too. All right, it doesn't matter that they were gay. They got the pink star. It matters what kind of gay they were, what they supported, and who they supported. That's why they got tossed in the camps. Okay? That's why they got tortured and beaten. All right. So please, stop. All right? Learn your history. If you don't learn your history, you're going to come at me, I'm going to wipe you out. I'm going to wipe the floor with you. I've been to these places. It's very sad and interesting to talk to a survivor with a tattoo on their arms. Jewish survivor of Auschwitz. I have done that. It's also very bizarre to talk to German World War II veterans of the Wehrmacht and the Luftwaffe. I forgot one who was at the air show here in Reading. Freaked me out when I realized, holy shit. And the other guy, he was just a little old man. My husband and I, we were at a thing in Mission Viejo, so we sat down with him. We didn't know who he was. Started talking to him. He had a German accent, so I go, oh, I knew where it came from. By his accent, hey, Dimanj and I, we're doing fine. I started talking to him. Blown away, freaked out, when it was over, walked away with my husband going, well, I didn't expect that. It was a lesson. I'm not going to tell you what we talked about. That's for a one-on-one conversations out, not in public, because it was very, it was rather scary to me. Yeah, it makes an impression. But the fact is you have right now these people that hate what, Favreau and Filoni and the fans want Luke, Han, and Leia to be back to normal. What they want to take our kids away and send them to re-education camps. They want to dump people who voted for Trump into wood chippers. They libel and slander Gina Carano for, she didn't say anything about Trump. She didn't say anything political at all, really. But there we are, okay? And then we're told, though, that Christina Ariel isn't a racist. If she's not a racist, my dog's not a dog. Okay? That's how that goes. If Justina Ireland isn't a racist and a bigot, my horse isn't a horse. Do you understand where that goes? You can't say what they say and not be a racist. All right? That's just what it is. I'm done talking about it. So, here's the deal. Oh, I know. Well, they don't know history. They think they do, but they don't. Here's the deal. Because I've been on here for over an hour and a half now. If Carano was caught flat-footed, Bob Iger and Bob Chapek were caught flat-footed. And now Disney's probably got Rian Johnson out there running interference. Why they picked him? Because if you want to lose money, give him a goddamn trilogy. Do it. Do it. Just do it. You want to lose money? Do it. Because it is the funniest fucking thing on the planet of all the people they chose to run with this. To do I don't know either, Master. I really don't. Of all the people to run interference. Well, yeah, so why would they pick him? Because that just makes it worse. You understand where I'm going? It just, of all the stupid things, get Mark to say something nice about the fans. Get Harrison Ford to do something like that. Oh, he did delete that tweet. And I think that came from Disney. All right. It's not an intelligent decision, and I don't think Disney told him to do that. In fact, how's this little theory? What if Ryan and his merry group of vipers, his pack of hyenas, decided to do it on their own without talking to anybody to make it worse? Like somebody here just said, it feels like somebody's burning the place down as they leave. What did Doomcock say? What did our friend John say? What did other people say? She threatened to burn everything down if they fired her. And maybe they are. Because I already brought this up once in a video, I'll do it again. That Momita Sengupta that they poached from Netflix is doing her job. Okay? That's something to think about. There really, really is. This is the most bizarre PR I have ever seen in my entire life, to be honest. Anyway, I'm losing my voice. So, if anything goes on again, because, I mean, if I wake up and someone sends me a message going, holy shit, this happened just now, I'll be up. I'll be up at 2 in the morning doing it live. I'll be in my PJs. I'll look like shit. I don't care. But I want to stop by, say hi to you guys, address this Ryan Johnson shit. And I do agree with Jeremy that this is just a distraction from Gina. It's not working. You know, I don't really. You're welcome, Paul. I don't really give a shit what Johnson says. It's time for him to shut his mouth. Yeah, and you're right. She doesn't, and it's time for her to go. I mean, I absolutely think Cameron's right when he says that she's that it's an open secret that she's a failure. But you know, and it's not that she's a woman, is that she's a certain kind of woman. All right. Anyway, I gotta go because the hairy hound is starting to make it known he wants to go out and go down to his toy room and play. So I gotta go. I'll see you guys around the galaxy. Please remember, tip the Wookiee bartenders 20% on the way out. And remember, no droids, no bounty hunters, no Raylos, no Ray Nobodies, no Disney canon fans of any kind. Gunfights, you take that shit out in the street. Fights, you take it out in the alley. I don't like my shit broken up. I'll see you around, guys. See you around the galaxy. You're welcome, John.